What's good, everyone? OJ here. Welcome back to another video. Today we've got a bunch of big Nintendo Switch 2 news to go over and some things that I think that are brewing in the future for Nintendo based off of some disappointing moves that they're making right now at this point. So we're definitely going to jump right into the first topic here, and we're going to talk about the Nintendo Switch 2 price. This has been a topic of debate and discussion across the internet since Nintendo dropped that first reveal trailer, and even before that, people have been talking about where they think the Switch 2 will be priced. But now we have another analyst adding in their own perspective to this, and they say that the Nintendo Switch 2 is likely to be priced at $399 to reflect the hardware advancements without alienating the core audience. So very interesting in terms of how that's worded. Shout outs to WCCF Tech for rounding up the information. Now, this person named Joost van Duren, and I probably pronounced that wrong, he is the co-founder of the Super Data Research firm, recently shared online a very interesting analysis of Nintendo's strategic direction for the future, focusing on the market changes over the release of the company's previous system and just how that will affect the Nintendo Switch 2. Now, the new console, according to this analyst, enters a fundamentally different market landscape than its predecessor, and the company's approach seems to reflect this changed market, prioritizing platform sustainability rather than hardware sales. Backwards compatibility and seamless transition suggest that the company is focusing on install base retention and software attachment rates, an approach that falls in line with the industry shift of recent times. Definitely agree with that. Now, this is a very different landscape. According to Joost van Duren, he believes that the Nintendo Switch 2 will be priced at $399. The price point, according to this analyst, is a critical psychological barrier that balances premium hardware aspirations against mainstream market accessibility, and that would allow Nintendo to maintain its hardware margins, position it below the handheld PC market that has blown up in recent years, while clearly indicating the new system is a technological advancement, all without alienating the system's core audience. The blowing up of the handheld PC market could actually be a boon for the Nintendo Switch 2, as it has expanded the addressable audience for a portable gaming system and has a very different core audience that doesn't overlap with Nintendo's family-friendly content. The Nintendo Switch 2 final price and release date have yet to be announced. You just gotta wait for probably the April 2nd Nintendo Switch 2 Direct. I think that's where it's going to be. Now, I do agree with most of what he has to say when it comes to the audience and the transition, when it comes to Switch 1 to Switch 2 to $399 price point. I do feel that that's going to be a part of it, but I don't 100% agree with the blow up, and that's air quotes on that, of the handheld PC market, just because there's no handheld PC sales to go along with the blow up of the handheld PC market. All we're seeing is a bunch of companies release handheld PCs, but we haven't heard any sales numbers in terms of exactly how well those systems are doing. But right now, I kind of feel it's like VR, where there's a lot of people that are wanting to get into the VR market, or they're doing VR headsets. You can see a variety of different ones, but it hasn't really blown up yet. But I understand what he's trying to say when it comes down to just there being more volume of it and it actually being more popular than it ever was, especially considering where the handheld PC market was when the Nintendo Switch 1 launched. There really wasn't anything outside of some weird niche type of devices, but now we have Valve, we have Lenovo, we have Asus, we have a bunch of companies kind of putting their hat into the ring. But once again, I understand what he's trying to say. But yeah, I do feel that $399.99 is going to be the target and sweet spot for the Nintendo Switch 2, and I would expect Nintendo to probably announce that price point in addition to the release date at the April 2nd Nintendo Direct. Now, I do think that it's probably going to be a June or so launch. If you follow the Nintendo Switch 1 timeline, they're kind of following almost the exact same thing from first reveal to big blow up direct and then launch afterwards. Nintendo has the Nintendo Switch 2 experience, they have backwards compatibility. There's a lot of things that they're doing in order to be able to retain that audience that they have. Backwards compatibility is huge, being able to carry over your digital games, your physical games, having full physical backwards compatibility when it comes to most of the titles. There's not going to be any type of weird software downloads. You can take a cartridge, put it in your Nintendo Switch 2, and most of the games will work straight up. So I do think that that is a very good thing, along with having the continuation of your Nintendo account. That's something that Nintendo has not been good at over the years, you've had to essentially start over as accounts were locked to the system, but now you actually have accounts that are just accounts overall and can transfer from one system to another. We're seeing that with Nintendo Switch 1 to Nintendo Switch 2. So I do agree with a lot of what this analyst says, and I do think that the Nintendo Switch 2 should be a pretty good success overall. It looks like Nintendo's gearing up with a lot of systems to have there, and it also seems like they're going to have a number of hit software released in the first year based off of the leaks that we've gotten from third party and what Nintendo's developers have been cooking up for first party. And of course, Mario Kart is going to be massive for the Nintendo Switch 2 as a system seller. But I do feel that there's something else that's massive when it comes down to it, and that's the massive amount of people that are watching these videos that are not subscribed yet, and how it would be so cool if you guys actually did subscribe to the channel for those that are watching. So if you do enjoy the best Nintendo Switch 2 content and more, make sure you hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, click that notification bell, and let me know what you're most excited about with the Nintendo Switch 2 in the comment section below. Now let's go ahead and jump into the next topic here, and we're going to discuss some of that bad news that I talked about, but I do think that it's going to lead into something else with the Nintendo Switch 2. So we have two different things to go over: the discontinuation of earning the My Nintendo Gold points, which is definitely a blow overall, and the fact that Nintendo Switch game vouchers won't be available on the Nintendo Switch 2 to use. So let's start off first with the discontinuation of the My Nintendo Gold points. So Nintendo announced this on Twitter, and they said as of 9:30 p.m. PDT on March 24, 2025, it will no longer be possible to earn My Nintendo Gold points when purchasing digital content. For those who don't know, anything that you purchased, anything when it comes to the eShop, you got these gold points or these gold coins, and then you can use those as discounts on indie games or any other game that you want to buy digitally, even first party games. So if you bought a lot of digital games, it actually would help you save quite a bit of money overall. Now there's more information and details when it comes down to it. Now I do want to go over the next thing before I kind of get into what Nintendo could be scheming for the Nintendo Switch 2. So Nintendo has confirmed that they are doing away with the game voucher system when it comes to the Nintendo Switch 2. The game voucher system allows for My Nintendo subscribers to purchase 2 discounted game vouchers, which then can be used for Nintendo games on the Nintendo Switch eShop. Now, you can still use this even after Switch 2 comes out, it seems. They're still going to have that system available. You just won't be able to use those for Nintendo Switch 2 software. So let's kind of break down and digest everything that's happened here overall. I think that it kind of sucks that they're getting rid of the gold point system. At least my first initial impression is that, because I actually used that gold point system. If you buy eShop games, you definitely get that. Anytime that I even got a digital game from Nintendo, I would still get the gold points so I could use it for something else. So I thought it was pretty cool overall. But what are they planning next? It does seem like they might have a new system in place, since they are getting rid of this one and they're not carrying over the game voucher scheme that they've used for the Nintendo Switch 1 for the Nintendo Switch 2. So I'm guessing they have something else that they want to do or they want to implement overall, because we've been using the gold point system for quite some time now and it's worked pretty well. I think it does incentivize people buying digital indie games and things like that on the eShop. So I'm guessing that Nintendo has some type of replacement when it comes down to it. But I do think that there's something else coming through, because you look at the timing is very interesting. It's right after the latest confirmed Nintendo Switch 1 game hits the market. So Xenoblade Chronicles X, that's coming out on March 20th or so, right around that time. So you'll still be able to earn your gold points and all that. We already got Donkey Kong and Metroid Prime 4 and Pokemon Legends ZA. Those are not dated, and I don't think those are going to come out before the end of this program overall. So those could have implications with the Nintendo Switch 2, which I think that's going to be the case in terms of getting patches or updates or running better or something. But Nintendo essentially said, we're closing out the Nintendo Switch 1 era with Xenoblade Chronicles X and these gold points, and we're probably going to be moving on to whatever's next with some of these other games, and of course the big Nintendo Switch 2 games. Nintendo Switch 2, obviously bigger development, more expensive games. I think that they're going to have their own system, and we're probably going to see the jump up to $70 games overall when it comes down to it. Because of the pricing, it does seem like it's not going to be a unilateral thing from the Nintendo Switch 1 to Nintendo Switch 2. So get ready for that. It does seem like $70 could be that. Now, once again, I'm just speculating on that, but we have to wait and see. But Nintendo tested it out with The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom, and that game still sold over 21 million copies. Now, there were some people that got discounts, and it wasn't every single copy that sold for $70. That's definitely not true. But at the same time, a large amount of people still did buy it for that $70. So I do think that Nintendo will at least feel confident putting the biggest games like Mario Kart, 3D Mario, Super Smash Brothers, games like that for 70, and maybe some of the smaller franchises that aren't as big maybe for underneath that. But once again, we have to wait and see. But I do think that they are scheming up something for the Nintendo Switch 2 on that. Now, I do want to talk about one more thing that I found interesting on the internet. Shout outs to Light88 on Twitter. And he actually thought about something that I've discussed before when it comes to the top USB-C port on the Nintendo Switch 2. People are speculating and wondering, what is that port going to be used for? And people have talked about having potentially a small second screen that can clip onto there and be able to have dual screen gameplay for various games. Now, what could those games be? Well, Light has speculated, well, how about Pokemon Soul Silver and Pokemon Heart Gold? These are two of the best games, in my opinion, ever created. When it comes to Pokemon Heart Gold, that game is absolutely incredible, and it gives Nintendo a way to bring over some of these 3DS games or DS games with a virtual NSO. So if you have the NSO, sure, you can play it on your TV and they'll split the screen and everything. But if you want to get a little bit more, I would say, authentic to the original experience, maybe they will actually program in there that dual screen play clipped onto the Nintendo Switch so you can play it like it was on the Nintendo DS. Now, I don't know how heavy that would make the screen. One thing that I've noticed when you start clipping things on the Nintendo Switch and all of that, it makes it kind of heavy when it comes down to it. So I can only imagine what they can do with a smaller screen. But then again, you can make it really thin and you can make it lightweight when it comes to these screens. So I think it would be a really cool idea. And I've done a video before where I talked about that. I just saw these renders and I thought that it would be really cool to maybe have something like it. I don't know if Nintendo's going to do it. And I don't know from a technical perspective how hard this is. I'm guessing it would not be easy to have 3DS games or DS games retrofitted over to Nintendo Switch 2, scaled properly, ported over, and then be able to do this as well. They'd have to spend some serious time, money, and effort in order to get something like this done. But I think that it could be just the thing that people are looking for when it comes down to something different for the Nintendo Switch 2 and give it an edge over what other systems can do. Because if it can do this, if this is a feature set for the Nintendo Switch 2, it makes it completely unique and different from many other systems out there. I mean, we've seen dual screen setups come out for other platforms, but they don't have the content that Nintendo could potentially deploy here with the Nintendo Switch 2. So I do feel that this would be a big boon to the Switch 2 if it could. Now, I'd just be happy if they had a virtual console, or if they had an NSO subscription for 3DS games and DS games. I think that would be dope because there are so many good Nintendo 3DS games that are just stuck on that platform. So many good DS games that are just stuck on that platform. But if they added this into the mix, it makes it even sweeter to have these games on the Nintendo Switch 2. So let's hope that actually happens. But what do you guys think overall when it comes to everything that we discussed with the Nintendo Switch 2 and the discontinuation of some of these programs? You think Nintendo has something in the works for Switch 2 with it? Let me know in the comment section below. All right, guys, that wraps it up for this video here. Thank you so much for watching. I do appreciate it. Please make sure you hit that like button, subscribe if you're someone new, click that notification bell, and check out my other Nintendo Switch 2 RPG content and more right here on screen. Thanks for watching. We'll catch you guys for the next one. Peace.